the reason I wasn't going to talk about this is because I do not see myself as part of the Hebrew roots movement. That would be, and I even said to Andrew after the fact, I said that he wouldn't be happy if I lumped him in with the Oneness Pentecostals because they deny things like the Trinity and whatnot. Well, I see the same in the Hebrew roots movement. I don't consider myself a Hebrew rooter because they deny some of the fundamental aspects of theology that I strongly oppose. So, with all that said, why am I talking about it then? Well, and here's the reason, is because I think that what this did for me was showed me that the theology that I ascribe to, we could name it whatever you want, pro-Torah, we could name it pronomian, we could name it whatever, Seventh-day Sabbath, festivals, kosher laws, biblical kosher laws. I think that the wider Christian community needs to kind of come to terms with the fact that this is the logical conclusion to theonomy, and that it's not just part of the Hebrew roots movement. It's not just part of the Messianic movement. It's within Christianity now. It is a theological tab. I believe in, name your theologies. I believe in, I think that I would say as a Christian and someone who holds to what I would say, I'm a Baptist, I believe in the 66 book canon. I believe in the Trinity. I believe in, the ecclesia and that God will build his ecclesia. I believe in elders and deacons and all. I mean, just name your theology, right? And within that Rolodex of theology, keeping, Seventh-day Sabbath and festivals is part of it. Do you understand what I'm saying, Rob?
I understand this last point pertaining to the podcast you're talking about. It's totally off my radar. I have no idea who you're talking about or what skin in the game they have. But with respect to this last point, yeah, in terms of overall, what I think is good biblical theology, I that's what I hear you saying. You're just saying you're pretty much right square in the middle of that, and that it's unavoidable to affirm the covenant of Abraham, right, as the framework for the law of Moses, etc., the prophets, and understanding, the Bible as a whole.
Yeah, I think that anytime somebody tries to make these issues salvation issues, to me, once again, we go back to covenant. Abraham was part of the covenant because he believed, and then he circumcised himself as an act of showing that he was in that covenant. And I actually had a conversation with someone recently, actually this past week, about, he was worried that, if he didn't become circumcised, that he wouldn't be able to share in the millennial reign. He wouldn't be able to be he wouldn't be a part of that. He wouldn't be around for that. I thought, wow, there are some real interesting theologies going around here. And ultimately, I think Andrew has done a very good job of noticing that one of the things that tends to happen within the Torah observant sphere, whatever label you want to put onto it, is a want to go back to a works-based salvation. I agree with him on that. I think that is one of the big one of the big traps that people fall into when trying to say, what does God want me to do? Because anytime we say, what does God want me to do, no matter if it's Torah observance or not, if we say things like, God wants me to be, faithful to my wife and faithful to his word, and he doesn't want me to lie or any of these things. All of these things, I think that we can start to look at ourselves and say, oh, I'm doing really well. It's all, I'm doing well. In other words, works-based salvation, I think, can seep in at any point. But ultimately, I think that my whole point in this is simply to say, I think people want to lump any form of Torah observance in with the Hebrew roots or the Messianic movement. And my point is, we can't do that anymore. The Seventh-day Sabbath and the festivals is becoming a theological viewpoint that people within the church are starting to believe. Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell us your thoughts on this subject by leaving a comment in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and enable those notifications. And we'll see you in the next video.